All right, so we're diving deep today
Diving deep.
into the future of Entropia universe.
Oh, yeah.
If you're listening to this, you're obviously interested to see what's coming next for Entropia.
Right.
And we've got a whole bunch of stuff to dig into.
We do.
Developer blogs, announcements,
Mm-hmm.
and even a message
Oh, wow.
from the new AI president.
Interesting.
But it's not just little tweaks and updates here and there.
No.
We're talking about a whole new engine,
Yeah,
deeper AI integration,
definitely.
and just a vision for a world that feels way more
Dynamic.
alive.
Yeah, responsive.
More responsive. Exactly.
It's a pretty fascinating shift, I think.
Yeah.
Entropia universe has always kind of been at the forefront,
Pushing those boundaries.
pushing the boundaries,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this feels different, you know?
It does.
It feels like they're really setting the stage for a whole new era
Yeah, absolutely.
of
Okay.
the game.
So let's unpack this, starting with the move to Unreal Engine. They're calling it a dual client approach.
Right.
And I have to admit, it's pretty clever.
It is clever, and for a few reasons.
Yeah.
So, players will actually be able to choose between running the existing CryEngine client
Okay.
or the new Unreal Engine client.
Oh, interesting.
So this does a couple things. First of all, it makes for a much smoother transition,
Makes sense.
but it also means that you'll be able to experience the improvements as they roll out
Ooh, okay.
without having to worry about, major disruptions or anything like that.
So you can kind of see it happening in real time as they're
Exactly.
implementing
You
new things.
You can kind of dip your toes in
Yeah,
and see what you think,
yeah, I like that.
see how it feels.
And the visual upgrades that they're describing, just from what we're seeing so far, sound incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just imagine Calypso with Unreal Engine graphics,
Can be beautiful.
more natural shadows, those emissive textures
Emissive texture.
that actually cast light and change the feel of the whole environment.
It's going to be amazing.
It'd be so cool.
It's like seeing the world with fresh eyes, but with all the familiarity
Exactly.
of a place you've spent countless hours exploring.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what's really interesting about the emissive textures is how they really add to the sense of immersion,
Oh, yeah.
So for example, imagine you're mining in a dimly lit cave, but the ores that you're extracting
Yeah.
are actually glowing,
Oh, wow.
casting light on the surrounding rock formations.
That's cool detail.
It's a subtle detail, but it makes the environment feel much more dynamic and realistic.
So much more realistic, yeah.
Heck.
And it's not just about the front-end visuals.
Right.
The back end is getting a pretty serious makeover, too.
Big time.
They're upgrading to C++20,
Mm-hmm.
which, for those who might not be familiar with programming jargon,
Right.
basically means they're modernizing the foundation of the game.
Exactly. And that modernization is going to have a ripple effect
Or imagine so.
on the entire game, making it more stable, performant, and most importantly, scalable for future updates.
That's huge, especially in Entropia universe where you have these massive events,
Oh, absolutely.
like thousands of players.
Thousands of players all in one spot.
Yeah, so that C++20 upgrade is going
It's
to
going to make a big difference, yeah.
make sure that those events run smoothly without all the lag
Exactly.
and server issues and all that.
It's going to help a lot with that.
So benefits for everybody,
Everybody wins.
whether you're using the CryEngine or the Unreal Engine client.
Exactly.
And speaking of game-changing updates,
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about Entropia Universe's new AI president, CelestAI.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Very intrigued.
This isn't just some kind of marketing ploy or anything.
Right.
Like, she seems to have a real vision for the future of the game.
Yeah, her message really stood out to me,
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just corporate speak. It felt very genuine. There was a real sense of ambition there and a desire to create a more immersive and responsive universe where player actions actually have an impact.
Yeah.
I felt like she really gets it.
Yeah, she's talking about a world that reacts to our choices.
Yeah.
A world where the line between game and reality starts to blur a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. And to make that happen, they've been developing something called the S.E.N.S.E system.
Oh yeah, the S.E.N.S.E system.
Which is where things start to get really interesting.
Wait, it gets really cool.
So the AI team has been feeding over 20 years of game data into this system, creating a framework for NPCs that are more intelligent and responsive than ever before.
Okay, so what does that actually look like in the game?
So imagine NPCs that don't just stand there waiting for you to interact with them.
Right.
They're moving around, reacting to events, maybe even striking up conversations with other NPCs based on what's happening in the game world.
For now.
It's like they're creating a society within a society.
Yeah.
And we as players get to observe and interact with it all in real time.
So it's a level of AI integration that we haven't really seen before.
In a game like this, no, not really.
Yeah, in any game.
Not at all.
Especially one like this. And it's not just about making the game world feel more lively.
Right.
It has real tangible gameplay implications as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, think about how this could affect missions or quests.
Yeah, like you run into an NPC and they're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
There's been this weird, uptick in these creatures over here.
Right, exactly.
And depending on your skills or what you're trying to accomplish, they're like, I've got this mission for you.
Right, it's like having a quest giver that's actually plugged in.
That knows what's going on.
To what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and giving you opportunities that make sense.
Yeah, that are relevant.
For what's happening.
To what's actually happening.
In the game.
In the game at that moment.
Yeah, it's cool. So no more static, same old missions. Repetitive missions, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about creating these unique, engaging experiences that are always changing.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And that level of dynamism could really add a whole new layer of unpredictability and excitement.
Oh, yeah.
To the game.
To Entropia universe.
It would make the world feel truly alive and responsive to your actions, to everything else that's happening.
It's the ecosystem of the game.
In the game's ecosystem, yeah.
It's really exciting, and they've even hinted at the possibility of
dynamic events.
Dynamic events that are triggered.
Oh, wow.
By players, or even
by CelestAI herself.
By CelestAI, imagine
oh, that'd be amazing.
A server-wide event that just kicks off because CelestAI has decided something has happened in the economy.
Oh, that's cool.
Or there's been some kind of weird alliance.
Right, she sees the bigger picture.
Between factions, it's crazy to think about.
It is. It is.
That emergent gameplay could really set Entropia universe apart.
It really could.
From any other game.
It's a bold vision.
It is.
And while it's not entirely clear when these dynamic missions will be fully implemented, it's clear that the developers are thinking long term.
Yeah, they're laying the groundwork with these changes.
Exactly.
And all of this ties back to the Unreal Engine transition as well.
It does.
We've touched on the visual improvements.
We have.
But I think it's worth digging a little deeper.
Absolutely.
The dev blogs really highlight how this switch to Unreal Engine just opens up a whole new world.
It does.
Of possibilities.
In terms of lighting, textures, reflection.
That's all that stuff, yeah. And it's not just about making things prettier either.
Right, it's not just about the visuals.
They're talking about actually using these advancements.
Oh, interesting.
To actually enhance the gameplay itself.
Okay, I like that.
So for example, imagine tracking an animal.
Okay.
Through a really dense forest.
Right.
But now you can actually see subtle tracks and disturbances in the foliage.
Wow, that would add a whole other level.
A whole other layer of depth.
To the hunting experience.
Yeah, to the hunting experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Or think about exploring an underwater cave.
Okay.
Where the play of light and shadow on the coral reefs just creates this mesmerizing
that would be beautiful
environment. Yeah.
Really immersive.
It's like they're rebuilding the world from the ground up.
Yeah, it's not just a visual upgrade.
Not just visually.
It's like a whole new way of interacting.
In terms of how we interact with the world.
With the world, exactly.
And how it responds to us.
I'm excited to see how it all comes together.
Me too. And remember, with that dual client system, players can actually choose.
You can.
To experience all of this at their own pace.
At their own pace, that's important.
Yeah.
Not everyone is ready to jump into a whole new engine,
No.
It's a big change.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
And this gives players the freedom to make that transition gradually.
Right.
Without feeling like they're being forced into something.
Exactly.
They're not comfortable with.
Yeah, it's good.
And it also allows the development team to continue refining the Unreal Engine client based on player feedback.
Smart.
So by the time it's ready for prime time, it'll be, a really smooth and polished experience.
Yeah, it's all about options.
Options are good.
Which has always been a strength of Entropia universe.
Absolutely.
And it seems like with these latest updates, they're striking a really good balance.
I think so.
Between innovation and accessibility.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundaries.
Pushing the boundaries.
But also respecting the players who have been around for so long.
Right, who have invested so much.
Invested so much time and money into this world.
Time, energy, money. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you're moving forward without leaving anyone behind.
I like that.
Yeah. And Entropia has always been really good at that.
They have.
It's a universe that's always evolving, always pushing forward.
Yeah.
But it never forgets its roots.
It's true.
And that's a rare and commendable quality
Because
in any online game.
especially one that's been around as long as Entropia.
For as long as Entropia, yeah.
And with CelestAI at the helm now, shaping the future of this game world with her understanding of player data
Yeah.
and the inner workings of Entropia.
It's an exciting time.
It's hard not to be excited about what's coming next.
Oh, absolutely.
So where does all this leave you, our listener?
Yeah.
You're clearly interested in what's coming down the pipeline for Entropia Universe.
Right.
You're invested.
Invested.
You want a game that's,
That's stable,
stable.
engaging, and that's always moving forward.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
It seems like the developers are making good on those desires.
They really do seem to be hitting all the right notes.
Mm-hmm.
The move to Unreal Engine promises a visual feast.
Yeah.
The backend upgrades will make for a much smoother experience.
Definitely.
And the AI integration, particularly with CelestAI at the helm, suggests a future where the game world feels truly reactive and alive.
Right. And it's not all just promises.
No.
We've got concrete timelines here.
Exactly.
So that October update is going to be bringing the first wave of these AI-enhanced NPCs.
With that S.E.N.S.E system.
With that S.E.N.S.E system,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So you'll actually be able to go in there and
interact with them.
interact with them, get a feel for it.
And really get a taste
Yeah.
of these new capabilities.
Yeah, see what the future holds.
And see firsthand what the future holds.
That's exciting.
It's a great opportunity to witness the evolution of Entropia Universe
In real time.
as it happens in
Yes.
real time. Yeah, and it's like CelestAI said herself,
This is only the beginning.
this is only the beginning.
It's just the start.
It's a path of creation and discovery, a collaboration
It's a collaboration.
between the players and the AI that guides this universe.
It really does feel like we're all part of this.
Just big experiment.
This big experiment, yeah, just figuring out, shaping what Entropia Universe will become.
Yeah,
Pretty amazing
it is pretty
to
amazing.
think about.
It really leads to a
A
final
final.
thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I like it.
For you, our listener,
Yeah,
what are the implications,
long term.
long-term, of an AI president in an online world?
That's a good question.
How might CelestAI, with her unique insight into player data and game mechanics, shape Entropia?
Interesting.
Will it usher in an era of unprecedented engagement and balance?
Right.
Or could her influence bring unforeseen challenges and maybe even unintended consequences?
Oh,
The possibilities are exciting
definitely exciting.
and maybe a little bit daunting, too.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
It's a lot to think about.
Definitely a lot to think about. That's what we love about these deep dives.
It's all about uncovering not just the what, but the so what
The so what, yeah.
of it all.
Thank you for joining us today as we explore the future of Entropia Universe.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
We can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Me too.
Until next time,
Keep exploring.
keep exploring,
Keep creating.
keep creating
And keep your eye on that ever-evolving world
of Entropia.
of Entropia